Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports all the time. I'm Sports Director Trayvon Miles.
That's right, and I'm Brandon Bossert. And Trey, you know what? This is our only live and local show on the Peninsula for sports, but I gotta say, this is positive news right here. Happy opening day to everyone out there. You know, the Nationals had their opening day yesterday. I'm a Phillies fan.
Yeah.
You know, we had our opening day today.
And the Orioles are getting walloped right now, which is on par
well,
with
that's
what
expected
we
right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
right.
It's great to have baseball back. It
I
really
would
is.
agree. Welcome on into another episode of DSI after a week off. It's really good to be back on
Welcome
the
back,
greatest
Trey.
show in America. Thank you. Thank
Just
you,
wasn't
everybody.
the same without you, Trey.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much, Brandon. While I was gone, no shortage of stories, and this week, a big meeting in the state of Delaware. When I left, the question was, what will fall sports look like on the peninsula?
That's right. Well, we already know Virginia has pushed back the start of their fall sports, but still no word yet from the governing bodies in Delaware or Maryland. And the DIAA held their monthly meeting yesterday, and on the agenda was the topic of the fall sports season, and this is what I was able to find out.
After more than 4 hours Thursday morning, no decisions or recommendations were made regarding the upcoming high school sports season in Delaware. DIAA deciding to kick the can down the road to their next meeting in August.
We would probably have updated guidance from the governor's office as far as the reopening of schools, DOE and the governor's office, and updated information from the Department of Public Health.
This decision comes despite calls for some sort of guideline to come out of the meeting.
I think we need to have a plan. At the very least, a recommendation. I don't know if anybody heard the governor's discussion the other day, but they're also looking to us for guidance.
Bradley Blay went on to say this about the Department of Public Health's stance on Friday night lights in the fall.
In general, as of now, there is no way they're going to allow football.
And so the discussion turned to what sports could look like. The Henlopen plan calls for condensed seasons, with winter sports beginning mid-December and competition running through June 19th.
The majority of the superintendents, it was their first choice of doing a condensed winter season to start.
A few plans were discussed, and all of them included a shortened preseason and postseason along with a shortened regular season. Blay spoke out against the condensed season plan because of health and medical concerns.
Coronavirus is not going away. And so we are still going to be dealing with the same issues in December, January, February, March as we're dealing with now. You're going to have an athlete still potentially playing in competitions for one sport, and practice is already starting for another. So you have kids jumping teams and potentially increasing the risk of spread, not to mention injuries of no rest breaks and stuff like that.
Dr. Kevin Fitzgerald, the superintendent of Cesar Rodney District, supports condensing seasons, but also wants coaches and athletic directors to modify the way that sports are played for safety.
But we would value moving those seasons back and having a delayed start.
So once again, we play the waiting game.
That's
the
right.
DIAA's next scheduled meeting is August the 13th, but there was discussion about moving that meeting date up if any new information comes out regarding the coming school year.
That's right, Trey, and as of now, out-of-season coaching will continue to end on August 1st, but conditioning programs will continue to be allowed following that date.
Yeah, all of this is really crazy to me. What do we think of all this? I'd said online earlier that I had an epiphany that all local school boards are kind of just waiting for school, or the athletic boards are waiting for the schools to make a decision so that they don't have to. And I think that's unfair to a lot of people. Coach Mike Judy alluded to the fact that these are the leaders in charge and they should act as leaders in this time.
Right. I think that's more so the case in Maryland, with all the different counties having their say in terms of what they're going to do. Like we've already seen Dorchester County say they're not having practices during the summer and looking like they're not going to have fall sports at all. But in Delaware, I feel like watching this DIAA meeting, the feeling was we can wait until August 13th and have more information about the virus by then. And we can also potentially have some sort of guidance from the governor's office about what schools are going to look like. And if they're virtual, well, what point is there in having a fall sports season in general? But another thing that's interesting about DIAA is any decisions that they make have to be approved by the Board of Education, which next meeting for them is August 20th.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter if they make
coaches,
a decision now or the 13th next month.
There are a few coaches who are in my mentions that do not agree with what we just talked about. So certainly is a tricky time.
That's right, but we'll see what happens on the 13th, and hopefully we'll have some more information by then. Now we're going to transition from the uncertainty at the high school level to the grave reality at the college level, which is Salisbury University forced to cancel all fall sports except for football right now when the CAC suspended all games.
Yeah, we know it's the right thing to do, but it's so disappointing not only for the players, but also the coaches. Dawn Chamberlain, legendary field hockey head coach and associate athletic director at SU, told me the decision was one administration could see coming in this week's Insider interview.
It's certainly not something that we didn't anticipate, given what happened in the spring and what's happening all summer, and then the resurgence in many states. We certainly knew this would be a possibility. We were hopeful that things would get a little more under control and we'd be able to do it. But, it wasn't something that we didn't at least have a notion that it could come down the line. It's not ideal. We would love to have a 2020 season, but the health, safety, and welfare of our student athletes and our staff are the #1 priority. I commend Dr. White and Dr. DiBartolo for the effort that they put forth trying to ensure that we could have a season. But it pretty much was inevitable.
As a head coach, what are you feeling not only towards your seniors, but also some of the ladies that have just joined the program and some of the ladies that were looking forward to another fantastic season?
Well, certainly I'm disappointed and I'm sad, and I'm frustrated, a little bit by the behavior of our country right now, but they're gonna come through this, and they're gonna come through this stronger than ever. It's certainly really disappointing for the freshmen coming in because many of them are dual sport athletes. They lost their spring, they lost their prom, they lost their graduation, and now they're losing their first season as a college athlete. And things are going to be very different for them being on campus. As for the seniors, we're hoping that we can get them to perhaps take the fall off and come back for a fall in 21.
We want field hockey to be back next year. What do you foresee having to happen for that to be a possibility?
People have to do the right thing. Our society has to do the right thing. So, people need to wear their masks. They need to have the social, physical distancing, whatever you want to call it. They need to wash their hands. This is, it can't be a political thing. This is science. This is a virus, and we have to do the right thing. And if we're not going to do the right thing, it's going to linger, and we're not going to get the opportunity to have sports back. So, I say, wear your mask, practice your 6-foot social distancing at all times, and wash your hands, stay out of large crowds. Just do the right thing so that we can get back on the field, so that we can get all the sports back, whether it's, college sports, high school sports, or professional sports.
Now, Chamberlain in her 30th season says she's hopeful for next year, another year in which the Gulls should return a ton of talent.
That's right, and there is still no decision on the football team's fate, reason being because they play in the NJAC conference. So
and
still some hope there.
Yeah, even that is delaying the inevitable. Not surprised by this decision. One of the things people don't take into consideration is the time that it takes to prepare for a season. So we're talking bus contracts, hotel accommodations, all of those things have to be made within a certain time period. Money has to be exchanged. So if there is the slightest chance that all of this could be wiped out and canceled because of an outbreak, I think the smart thing to do money-wise is to cancel and I guess just spare what you can as far as funds go.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, money-wise, it's the smart decision to go ahead and cancel as of right now. We've been seeing a ton of teams for Wesley and for Salisbury already canceling their seasons and leaving the Gulls and the Wolverines out to dry when it comes to their schedules. But What I wonder is, we're talking about the high school level potentially moving some of these fall sports into the spring. I'm not sure what can happen at the D3 level in college, if that's even possible. But also, is there a potential for maybe some intramural sports for some of these athletes to at least have some sort of experience?
It looks like, truthfully and honestly, Brandon, that these kids that are playing on these teams right now just got a bad break, and that looks like what may happen.
Yeah, our hearts go out to all those athletes.
As tough as that may seem. Yeah, that's going to do it for the A block. We're taking a commercial break, but when we return, one local coach doubles as a professional bowler. Yeah, you're not going to want to miss this one of a kind after the whistle when we return.
Hi, I'm Sean Phillips, Delmarva High School head basketball coach. You're watching the Delmarva Sports Insider.